everyone, and welcome back to another Nintendo Boys Power Podcast. I am your host, Donovan, and joined by no one again. I am sad. Okay, let's just get on with it. It has been the 3rd anniversary of the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch has been on the market for 3 years, and oh boy, it's been a great 3 years for Nintendo and for me as a gamer, and probably for everyone as a gamer these past 3 years of the Nintendo Switch's life. My Nintendo Switch experience has been dated back 3 years ago when the Switch originally launched. I remember the time when I first unboxed that beautiful, beautiful system. I have the Switch right next to me, right here. And please don't watch that unboxing video. I think I unlisted it because, for reasons. Yeah, don't watch that. But anyways, let's start at the beginning of the Nintendo Switch's life. Before it was even called the Switch, it was called the Nintendo NX. I've been keeping up with the Nintendo NX ever since, July 2016, where at first, my first piece of news about the Nintendo NX, I was just searching up on the computer Nintendo systems because I was in the market for a Wii U. I really wanted one, but then I searched up Nintendo consoles and I heard Nintendo NX, something I never heard of. And the Nintendo NX happened to become Nintendo's next system, the Nintendo Switch. So I said, screw it, I'm not buying a Wii U anymore. I'll just wait for this new system. And wait, I did. As a Nintendo fan in 2016, it was dreadful, I heard. We had releases such as Paper Mario Color Splash, which was god-awful. We had other things such as Star Fox Zero, a pretty mediocre Star Fox game. And yeah, nothing really interesting was happening. I was probably most excited for one game in 2016, and that was Kirby Planet Robobot. Probably my second favorite Kirby game ever, behind Return to Dreamland. I just have so many memories of Return to Dreamland, and Return to Dreamland just modernized the series. It had all of these collectibles. There's always 3 collectibles in every stage. Planet Robot, there was stickers, but in Return to Dreamland, there were these little parts. There's 3 parts in every stage, or maybe more than 3 parts for certain stages, to repair Magolor's ship. But we are getting a little bit off track here. The main point I'm making is that nothing was really happening in 2016 besides probably Kirby Planet Robobot. So we kept on waiting. Oh wait, hold on, I forgot about Pokemon. But forget Pokemon. We don't talk about Pokemon on this channel. We kept waiting and waiting for the Nintendo Switch Nintendo NX to be announced. There was just a lack of news from Nintendo, and people were just getting super worried. Like how we are right now with no Nintendo Direct. But anyways, on that fateful day of October of 2016, we finally got the announcement trailer of the Nintendo Switch, and I was super, super excited. I was like, screw this 3DS, I want this tablet now. So, after that long wait from October of 2016, we had our first presentation and more information of the Nintendo Switch on January of 2017, the Nintendo Switch presentation. It was pretty late at night for what I was in, my time zone, Central Time. So I had to watch it in bed, and also I had an iPhone 5 back then, and my iPhone 5 was kind of horrible, and sometimes it would just glitch out and will not produce any sound. So I had to watch the live stream, probably 3/4 of the live stream without any sound, but I was still excited. I saw all of those games. I saw Splatoon 2, I saw Mario Odyssey. I finally understood what the heck a Zelda was, so I was pretty excited for Breath of the Wild. I was just so excited for all of this gaming news for the Nintendo Switch. And also, 2016, 2017 was probably the first years that I was finally catching up on gaming news. I I was in post-fetus. I finally understood things better. So yeah, March 2017 rolled around and Nintendo Switch was released. I got my Nintendo Switch day one. I remember coming back to school and just seeing the white box with my little brother and my friend, and we unboxed it immediately. We made an unboxing video. Don't watch it. And yeah, pretty cool. Pretty great time. Still have that same Switch here. Great condition. I think mine is like a 2016 model because on the back it says copyright 2016. Maybe one of the first Switches ever made. Maybe that's why my battery dies so fast. But anyways, moving on. We should put an anyways counter up here. But this is a podcast, damn it. So, throughout 2017, there was just... Nintendo was making so many great games, releasing so many great games, and also happy anniversary to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. My favorite game of all time. I have a painting right in my room I'm staring at right now. Such a beautiful painting of Zelda and Link. Oh, such a great game. 3 years. Man, time does fly. And the sequel is coming out, which is my most anticipated game right now. I cannot wait for the sequel of my favorite game of all time. But besides that, we have games such as ARMS. Yeah, that game. People forgot about that immediately. We had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, a Wii U port. It's the best-selling Switch game right now, which goes to show, if the Wii U actually succeeded, like, sorry, I had a brain fart right there. With the release of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and with all of the releases of these Wii U ports, it just shows how many great games the Wii U had, but they just didn't sell well because of the Wii U's marketing. And come to think of it, if the Wii U actually succeeded, my generation of kids, like my friends, some of my friends, maybe, possibly, most of them are like PlayStation fans, like maybe a good majority, above half, maybe just slightly above half of my friends are PlayStation fans. But if the Wii U actually succeeded, after the success of the Wii, maybe my friends would have been Nintendo fans, I don't know. But moving on, we had stuff like Mario Odyssey and Splatoon 2 later in the year. Those were absolutely phenomenal games. I made another video of Mario Odyssey you should not watch because I unlisted it, haha! But anyways, 2017 rolled out, probably my favorite year of all time because of how much things were happening. There was like a Nintendo Switch, a new Nintendo console. I had probably the greatest birthday party ever. There was iPhone 10, a brand new redesign. It's not called iPhone X. It's called 10. Okay? You stupid freaking casuals. There was also probably some of my favorite movie series of all time finally released their final movies. Final in quotation marks. There's Pirates of the Caribbean 5 and Transformers 5, which some people might say Transformers, the Michael Bay series, is kind of garbage, but I grew up with these films. I did not grow up with the original cartoons, so I don't care what you guys say. I like those movies. But anyways, this is a Nintendo podcast. Why am I talking about Transformers and Michael Bay? I don't know. Moving on to 2018. 2018 was a more barren year for Nintendo Switch. Not many big releases. Most of them were like Wii U ports, but during the end of the year, we had Pokemon and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, my favorite fighting and competitive game, and we also had Fortnite in 2018. Hooray! Super Smash Bros. Ultimate helped me get out of the Fortnite craze, and Fortnite used to be my favorite competitive game, and also Fortnite is my second most played Nintendo Switch game. That's one of my darkest secrets, but Luckily now, Super Smash Bros. Is my first most played Nintendo Switch game. And yeah, Fortnite is my second. That's a really dark secret. No one should ever know. But anyways, most of 2018 was a bunch of filler, just a bunch of Wii U ports, but in the latter half of the year, we had Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee. They were pretty good games, I heard, but I just skipped them to wait for Pokemon Sword and Shield. But I did get Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. You can see my first Smash Bros. Ultimate video on the channel. Just gotta scroll down. But the thing is, I remember I had an Amazon order for the game. I bought the controller, the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Pro Controller, and the game. But only the Pro Controller game on launch day. So I had to wait for like 2 weeks to actually play the game. But, well, that's fun. Probably brought down the views of my Smash Bros. Video, but who cares about that? Smash Bros. Was a great game, helped carry the Switch in 2018, even though it was like in the last month. But moving on to 2019, 2019 was a better 2018. That's all it was. At the beginning of the year, we had New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe with Peachette and Bowsette. Well, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe spawned an entire genre. Well, not really genre. It just spawned a meme about Bowser. Oh boy, that was a meme. But next up we have Yoshi's Crafted World. Yoshi's Crafted World. I had another brain fart. I gotta say, I completed the game. It's a pretty fun game, but not as well. It's not as big as the other games that released this year, but pretty good game for the beginning of the year. Next up, in summer, I thought Nintendo had like the best E3 yet. Like, I really loved their E3 mainly because Sony wasn't there, and Xbox, I don't know what they were doing. Nintendo just kept hitting it hard with so many great games, and the Breath of the Wild sequel at the end. We watched that E3 with my friends at school. We had like an entire table dedicated to E3. We were all watching it at the same time. And then when Breath of the Wild 2 was announced, everyone started to go crazy. That's an amazing moment. But yeah, I think Nintendo stole the show from there. We had Super Mario Maker 2. I gotta be for real here. I'm not that into Super Mario Maker as I was back then. Like, I had the 3DS version. I've made so many courses on the Nintendo 3DS Super Mario Maker version, but with the Switch version, I just kind of lost interest. Like, with the 3DS version, it made it so simple, but now, without the touchscreen, or gamepad, at least, it's kind of harder and more weirder and unsatisfying to create levels on the Switch. Like, I think you guys know what I mean without a gamepad. It just feels a little bit unnatural with just a cursor, and you can't even connect a keyboard or mouse. You have to use the analog sticks and stuff, which I kind of lost interest. Like, people sort of lost interest in Mario Maker 2. It's like, it's not as big. It certainly is bigger than what the Wii U had, but the popularity and the hype is not as big as when it first released. But anyways, moving on, I'm probably forgetting a bunch of games, but we had Fire Emblem. I loved Fire Emblem Three Houses. Like, that was my first Fire Emblem game. I had no idea what Fire Emblem was all about. I only knew it was just an RPG game, and I love this game. I still haven't beaten it yet, so no spoilers, please. I'm going into it spoiler-free. It's a great game. It's, like, the stories. There's, like, 4 different endings, and I'm probably only going to go through one of the endings because the game is just a very long game. I just want to complete it, get that satisfaction of getting my students all up to these master classes, finally beating the game. I'm growing like a connection with these students. That's what's great about the game. You grow, brain fart. You get attached to these characters, and once you get to know the characters and their personalities, and once you get to know the battle tactics and what's going on in the game, it's just a beautiful moment when you get to really attach yourself with the game. Next up, we have, I'm probably forgetting a bunch of games here. Let's see, let me turn on my Switch, but we have Link's Awakening. Yes, Link's Awakening. A remake of a Game Boy game, a much needed remake of a Game Boy game that has lots of potential, and yeah, great game. Had some frame rate problems, but still a great game. I'm still trying to play it right here. Haven't beaten it yet, but I do know the entire story and stuff, what happens. Yeah, great game. Maybe Nintendo should make an original 2D Zelda. I don't know. Next up, Luigi's Mansion 3. I almost forgot about that game. Luigi's Mansion 3, I gotta say, a pretty short game. Like, I completed it in, like, a few months. Really easy. Here's a funny story. I had, gameplay footage of me beating the final boss, but, we had some technical issues, and, yeah, that never became a video, and I'm still very sad about that. But yeah, Luigi's Mansion 3 might as well be the greatest looking Nintendo Switch game out there. I personally think Breath of the Wild is, but yeah, I can still see many considering Luigi's Mansion 3 to be the best looking Switch game, because it really does look that great on the Switch. It looks absolutely amazing. A masterpiece for game design. It should have been a Game of the Year nominee, in my opinion. But who knows? Next up, we have Pokemon Sword and Shield, which had a whole ton of backlash and BS thrown about it. I personally didn't really care about National Dex because I only played like 20 minutes of Moon and 10 minutes of Ultra Moon. I just got that bored. But with Pokemon Sword, I am actually like 20 hours in. I still haven't completed it yet. I'm not that hooked into Pokemon. But yeah, really fun game. I don't really care about the backlash because I had no connection with the Pokemon from the last generations. This is like basically my first Pokemon game. So yeah, pretty cool game. Next up, we finally have a game that released in December. Forgot what it's called. Brain fart. Nope. Nothing actually released in December, but I did forget. I glossed over the fact that the Nintendo Switch Lite has released an alternative version of the Nintendo Switch that is mainly a handheld version of the Nintendo Switch. No tabletop unless you cheat Nintendo and don't use their trash kickstand and prop it up on something. Boom, tabletop mode. But there is no there's no TV mode. You can't dock it to anything, which for some people it's a big letdown, but for me, I think the Nintendo Switch Lite is like mainly made for kids, so not that big of a deal. It's made for kids and a more cheaper alternative version, so I can live without the TV version. I plan on getting a Switch Lite for my brother, but we'll have to see about that. But anyways, that's it for 2019 and moving into 2020, the current year of the Nintendo Switch. And exactly, nothing happened. Nothing's happening right now except for Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I can't speak right now. Or Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Yeah. Those are games I will not buy. But we do have Animal Crossing New Horizons, which I am gonna buy because I heard the game is fantastic. I cannot wait for Animal Crossing. I played Pocket Camp. Yeah, I technically played Animal Crossing before. I can't speak now. Ugh! But yeah, I can't wait. for this new installment. But other than that, it looks pretty dry from here on out. Like, we haven't had a direct yet from the time of recording. And E3, because of a certain beer virus, may be canceled. Like, there's so many gaming events that are starting to get canceled. It's starting to concern me. Maybe Nintendo is working on a bunch of great games like Paper Mario and a new Metroid game, new 2D Metroid game, to be exact, from the leaks. Maybe they are, but just Corona, just the beer virus is just being a little idiot, little annoyance, and it's just pushing back everything. Maybe that's why we hadn't had a Nintendo Direct. So we won't get the man feeling. The man feeling. That's a new thing. That's a new thing for me. An man feeling from a game getting delayed. Maybe that's why. But still, we're having the man feeling because there's no Nintendo Direct. But there is a rumor that a Nintendo Direct might come next week from this time of recording. So I am excited for that. Can't wait for what they have to say. But for the future of Nintendo, they could be making a Nintendo Switch Pro, but without a Nintendo Switch Pro, they may, there's a slight possibility they may struggle with the newcomers of the PS5 and the Xbox Series. There might be a cheaper alternative, like Series X might be the Pro, Series, I don't know, S might be the cheaper version. But anyways, if there won't be a Switch Pro, if there won't be a Switch Pro, it might lead developers to not develop for the Switch. Like, any game can be ported to the Switch. Developers just have to try. Like with The Witcher 3. They tried their hardest to port that thing to Switch, and, well, it is possible. Developers can port their things to Switch. They just have to try. But with the gap in hardware limitations and specs being wider now, it might be harder than now to port things like from PS5. Like, PS5 exclusive games may not be able to be ported as easily to the Nintendo Switch if there was not a Switch Pro. But if there is a Switch Pro, the Switch Pro might get exclusives, or it might not get exclusives, and it will just be easier. Let me rephrase that. If there is a Switch Pro, developers probably would be able to keep up with the Nintendo Switch and port their games to the Nintendo Switch Pro, maybe, because the Pro is a bit more powerful and can probably handle these new generation of games. But without a Switch Pro, I think Nintendo will do fine. Like, a good chunk of Nintendo Switch owners also own, like, another console, like a PS4. They own a Nintendo Switch for the portability factor. Play anytime, anywhere. That's the great thing about Nintendo Switch. So they'll probably do fine. As a secondary console, people will keep on buying the Nintendo Switch, even if there's probably no games, because Nintendo has these evergreen titles: Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda, what's the name of another one? Pokemon. We have Mario Kart. People will keep buying the system even if there is no new games, which I hope there are new games, but people will still buy the Switch even if there are no new games, because the whole idea of the Switch is just so great. Play anytime, anywhere. So Nintendo in the future will do fine. I bet they're working on some great, fantastic games. If it wasn't for the beer virus, Nintendo would be releasing or announcing games right now. If that's the case, if beer virus is blocking everything, shut up, phone. But yeah, Nintendo's future is looking pretty bright. Brain fart. I can't speak today. for a podcast. But anyways, Nintendo's future is looking bright with the Nintendo Switch. If they keep going down the same road they are doing, they'll just do fine. Keep releasing evergreen titles for the Switch. Maybe release sequels now, because they've already released like probably their biggest games of biggest franchises right now. So how about Breath of the Wild 2, Mario Odyssey 2, more Smash Bros. DLC. I don't think we need a new Mario Kart. I don't know, maybe possibly another new Super Mario Bros. Game. I don't know. Or Nintendo could be Nintendo again and just do something weird in the future. Not go like... Here's the thing about Nintendo. They like to do things differently. Xbox and PlayStation do the same thing over and over again. Like PS2, PS3, PS4, Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series X. And Nintendo likes to do their own thing with NES, SNES, N64. That's more traditional. And then GameCube. But then they went off with Wii and Wii U, which during the Wii era, just Nintendo kind of changed. They just did their own thing. But if Nintendo keeps doing their own thing, it may hurt them, like how they did it with the Wii U. It might hurt them in the long run. Maybe Nintendo releases like a Switch 2, Switch 3, Switch 4, which I liked them to do that because the Switch is just such a great concept. But Nintendo might be Nintendo and just release another weird thing that might not sell and just put Nintendo in the dark era again. But who knows? Nintendo could do very great in the future. I see them doing just fine this year. And yeah, that's where we are going to end it today, folks. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this podcast. Give me some criticism, constructive criticism in the comments below. And also, let me know what you think about the Switch. What are your stories with the Switch? How you thought the Switch was originally going to play out, and what you think the future of the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo as a whole is going to be. I am Donovan, your host of the Nintendo Boys Power Podcast. If you enjoyed, please hit that like button. Really helps out the podcast and also shows your support and shows me if you actually liked it or not, because that's what a like and dislike is. And subscribe if you actually really liked it. And to show your support, turn on that notification bell for more podcasts if you just want podcasts, or if you want to check out my more traditional videos, you can. Or you can just click the bell, to get notified for a new podcast if you really like this one. Alright, bye.